Welcome to another edition of Issues by Elsie. Thanks for your support. I'm here because you're there. Life is for the living. We live and we learn. We are definitely going somewhere for great things to happen. Children are the voice of God. Sometimes we might not like the way a child might say a thing, but if you're very keen, you would understand that God will often use even children to send out a message. The question now is, when the message is given to us, do we take it? Or we will spend time looking at the fact that it is a child who said it, or the child didn't say it in the right way, or it is not in the right place, whatever it is. But do we accept the message or do we kick against it? For reasons best known to us. I walked into an elevator and everyone was rushing to catch up with an appointment or hurrying to a doctor's office, doing the activities of the day. Everybody was busy. As I walked into that elevator, a young boy also walked in. He was about 3 years. And inside the elevator, there was a man who was standing in the elevator, and you could tell, he was exhausted for a couple of reasons. He was obese. You could really find the big stomach, and the man was just big. And so you could tell that within the early hours of that morning, at around 7, 8 o'clock, where everybody was rushing with activities, he was already exhausted. And it was as a result of his weight and all that. There was that feeling of uneasiness as he just stood there also waiting for the elevator to get to his own floor, or stop from one level to another, still picking up people as they went by the activities of the day. And as we stopped in one of them, one of these little boys too, who was with his mother, ran in, and they were heading to another floor too for their own appointment or whatever it was. And as this young boy walks in, he scans through everybody's face. I guess to him everybody looks normal except this abnormal man who is so huge and with a very big protruding stomach. And not only that, he's just leaning on the wall of the elevator and just looking so exhausted. The little boy is not having it. Turns around, looks at his mama's face, and is like, I don't even care what my mama will say right now. But walks right up into the man with the big stomach in the elevator, pokes the man's stomach like this, and tells the man, your tummy is too big because you eat too much. Inside the elevator, you could hear a pin fall. Nobody is laughing. Everybody is so shocked. And all the adults are turning around and looking at every other adult, and it's like, did he just say that? Oh yes, he did. He just told the fat and obese man in the elevator, poking at his stomach, pointing at the stomach and telling the man, your tummy is too big because you eat too much. The mother of the young guy was about to, it was like, let the ground open and swallow her up. As she tried to apologize to this man and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, my son told you that. No, the man was like, don't worry, man. Don't worry about it. It's what I need to hear. He owned up in the midst of all the other adults and the little boy in the elevator. he told the little boy's mom, don't worry about it. He spoke the truth. It's what I need to hear. And all the other adults people just didn't know what to say. And so as the elevator stopped and the young boy moved out, there was not even time maybe for the mother to talk with the man, or at least maybe offer some help and maybe talk again with, because sometimes you could have help, you know how to help him, maybe tell him one or two things that he could do to help with his weight or whatever it is. But like I said, everybody was rushing, and so when they got to their own floor, the little boy was dropped out with the mom and they proceeded birth. We couldn't help but see the fact or understand that the man owned up to what this little boy said and said, it's what I need to hear. How many times are we told the truth about ourselves? And rather than focus on what has been told or the truth that has been told to us, regardless of the time the truth is told, the place where the truth is told, or how awkward the truth about us has been told to us, how many times rather than focus on what is true, we focus but on the person who told the truth. We focus on the fact or where the truth about us was told. We focus on all the things that are not important rather than the truth, and kick against it just for the sake of it, so that we do not take responsibility. It is often said that the truth is bitter but must be spoken. Oh yes, it must be spoken, and it doesn't matter where it will be spoken. It might be spoken inside the elevator with other people for the highest embarrassment for you, but it is the truth. And if you are going to be like this man and own up to it, who said it's what I need to hear, then may God help you to be able to find solutions to whatever it is that is affecting you. Because from that day when I left, all I could say was, Lord, because he owned up, help him to lose weight. Let maybe what that little boy said in the elevator ever ring in his mind when he sits to eat that extra plate of fufu, that extra plate of rice, that extra plate of corn and beans. Let that little boy ring in his mind and be like, you eat, your tummy is big because you eat too much. Let him hear the voice of that little boy and make some changes that will lead him in the right direction to be healthy. When we are told the truth about our lives, let's stop pretending. Let's own up to it. Because it is until we own up to it that we will make good of whatever it is. If you're told that you have a body odor, don't be angry about it, because you probably have not noticed it. It is only another person. You can never really notice that you're smelling. Like I always tell my kids, and I trick myself, I always tell my kids, have it in mind, your mouth smells until somebody doesn't tell you your mouth is smelling. Just have it in mind that your mouth always smells, so that way you are very conscious about your oral health. Have it in mind that your body smells, or that you could be emanating some odor until somebody tells you, oh, I love your body cologne, or I love what you're wearing, right? Treat your body that way. Have it in, and when people tell you something, don't necessarily jump to anger. This reminds me of a lady, she used to work in a company, and she had body odor. I don't know what I'm talking about. Or yeah, she had BO, and it was really bad. Other colleagues who worked with her, everybody could perceive it, but we live in a society where people mind their business and just try to be polite. It's very, we live in the American society. Americans will tell you if you smell good. They would send your body cologne or perfume from a distance and be like, oh my God, what are you wearing? Somebody smells nice. But guess what? As they appreciate that nice scent because of your cologne, sometimes you pass you could be standing near another person still who smells so bad, and you're just really like struggling and just maybe wanting to finish whatever you're doing and get out of the line. The same people, they wouldn't say nothing. Everybody will mind their business, and you will not hear anybody say, you smell. No matter how they say it, right? And if anybody makes a comment even that, oh, you smell, then it becomes an issue even because of the way other people would take it. But day in and out, we find ourselves amongst people who you cannot stand near them. You can't stand near them. They've either smoked so much cigarettes and it's coming out in their pores. When they stand near you, who is a non-smoker, you can't stand near them. But you're struggling with it. You're struggling with it. Even perfume, some of those kind of people, perfume, it doesn't help again. Because if you add the perfume to that, it becomes a horrible scent, right? Yes. But you can still always do your best to help people like that. You might not necessarily come up in the crowd and tell people that, oh, they stink, or they smell, or that they are. But if you become used to someone and you've noticed it, you tell it to them out of love. And they will work on it. The thing is that many people are not saying it. Most people, even those who are close, they're not saying it. Everybody's minding their business because, oh, it's offensive. I don't want to offend the person and this and that. Or another thing is, when people are told, just like I said, when people are told the truth about themselves, they don't want to hear it. They become defensive rather than take it and work on it and become better people. And it goes back to what I was saying. This lady who worked in an agency, the colleagues, people couldn't stand it. So they would come to the office and talk about her. When she was sent to other patients' homes, the patients complained about her body odor. And so when they called the office decided that, okay, they were going to invite her in to talk about it. So the office invited the lady in, and the scheduler tried to tell her, look, your colleagues have talked about this. I, as a person, I can tell you, I've sensed it, but I was trying to be polite. But for our clients to be calling and saying, you have this body odor, it really means that you need to work on it. The lady's defense, my husband has never told me that I smell. Oh yes, your husband cannot tell you that you smell because your husband is used to the smell. Yes, your husband is used to the smell. And so that's why he cannot tell you that you smell, because it is a smell he deals with every day, and so it's become normal to him. But someone outside your husband or outside your home is telling you the scent is not okay. Accept it and work on it, rather than be defensive about it. What can I do about it? Oh, okay, I smell. I didn't know that. How do I smell? Or what do you think I can do? You will be surprised. When we are told the truth about our characters, about our looks, about our body sense, about anything, let's accept it. Sometimes some people are just hating. True. Some people are just hating. And sometimes some of the things they are telling you, for instance, I think I made a video here. If you tell me that my nose is big, there's nothing I can do about the big nose, right? But if you tell me that that I smell, okay, I'm going to work on it. I will work on it. If you tell me I'm dirty, I will try to see, okay, what can I do to be clean? Things that we can change, we can work on, fine, let's work, we accept it, and maybe ask. And the person who tells you, and also, if you're going to tell somebody that, have a solution maybe to offer too, it helps, right? Have a solution to offer, or some recommendations. Don't just be the kind of hating people or the haters who just shoot it out. Always give a recommendation. Then if we're coming from an area of good faith, that is welcomed and stuff like that. But when we are told, you have a bad attitude, you are selfish, you're mean, let it work on it, because it could be something that you've not noticed, right? But it's there, and it could be destructive for you in the long run. It could be detrimental to you in the long run. So when somebody tells you about it, take time to study it. Take time to look into it. It will help you. Don't just be defensive. Because when you are defensive, then you will not take the correction, no matter how the person says it. And sometimes even you can tell the person, oh, thank you for saying that, but I would have just appreciated if you said it in a much more nicer way. But then, and maybe the person who told you, if their approach was not good, they will also learn from there to be better next time. For instance, I once corrected a lady, and for evidence sake, I didn't want to go talk to her because it was just going to be my word against her. So I brought two or three other people, and I talked to her in front of those people so that they could bear me witness because of the situation I was dealing with. And later on, she told me, I would prefer it if you correct me. You just come up to me and correct me. But mind you, she created that scenario where I could not just walk up to her and correct her, because she could have still gone and told a lie or say something else. So I needed evidence while I told her what was on my mind. That's why I brought the evidence. But then I accepted to her and I told her, okay, going forward, I would, if I see something, I would tell you directly. But like I said, she created that scenario where I wasn't comfortable coming to her and just being like, oh, you did this and I didn't like it. I needed somebody to bear me witness that these are the words I said, so that she could not twist them around. And anyway, but we are talking about when people correct you. It might not be the best of time, it might not be at the right place, but if it is something you know it is true about you, own up to it, take the correction and forget about all the other circumstances, because that's what makes you a better person. That's what makes you a better person. Own up to it. You're overweight. What can we do to help you? Oh yes, I know I eat too much. Okay, let me see what I can do. Portion control. Don't you say, how dare you talk to me? How dare you tell me that I'm overweight? Who goes, zip your little mouth. Your mother didn't teach you manners. Mothers will still teach manners. But when it is time for God to speak using these children, as I always believe, manners is out the door. They will still say what they want to say. Yeah, it happens. If you have little kids, sometimes they just say what I always believe it is God talking. Because they will say some things that you don't understand where they are coming from, but as long as it is the truth, please take it and run with it. I believe I spoke to someone or I helped someone today. Don't be defensive all the time when truth is told about you. God might be bringing it to your attention for you to work on it. Take that correction and run with it and forget about the circumstances under which it was told to you. Thanks for watching.
I invite you to keep regular dates with me on my new series of Issues by Elsie on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
And thanks for joining me on this journey.